Nikon D500 versus Olympus EM1 Mark II. Two flagship cameras. Let's talk a little bit about it. Hello everybody, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I'd like to talk to you about two flagship not mirrorless, one is mirrorless, one is DSLR cameras, and they are the Nikon D500, the DSLR, I would say the flagship APS-C size camera from Nikon, and the second one is the Olympus EM1 Mark II from Micro Four Thirds. Now, first of all, I have to clarify over here that this is not a review, because I get a lot of comments, in my videos that why do you review like this and blah blah. This is not a review. This is I would say a conversation. This is my opinion about these cameras, and what I would like to do with this, I would like to help others to make a decision. So why I say that this is not a review? Because sometimes people, they have the tendency that they take the camera in the hand and they make a review and they will say only the positive points of the camera. And then they won't talk about the negative points. They won't talk about the trade-off, what you have to trade in if you buy that camera. Now, what I do, I have a lot of experience with cameras. I had the possibility, and I am very grateful to my God because I had this possibility to try and to own a lot of kind of cameras. So I can say that I have pretty much a big experience with cameras, and what I want to do here, I would like to help others with my experience to figure out which one to buy. Now, if you buy this one, this is what you get and this is what you trade in. If you buy the other one, this is what you get and this is what you trade in. This doesn't have anything to do with menus, with what this does, what that does, that's completely different story, So this is only a conversation where we can help others to make wise decisions. So if you see that I missed something, if you see that I didn't say something and it is important, please leave a comment down below and let's help others to make good decisions. Which one to buy, this one or that one? Now, I have to tell you that for me, myself, the main concern in a camera, there are actually two things. One is the focus to be good, and second, the image quality. And I would say the image quality is the biggest for me. That's the most important for me, the image quality. So if a camera has good image quality, and good focus, the rest can be worked around, I mean, if you have some issues with other things, you can work around all the time, you can find a possibility. So let's talk about these two cameras. They are both excellent cameras, and I would say the Nikon D500 is I like it. I like very much. And the Olympus EM1 Mark II, I didn't have the possibility to put my hand on it, but I had in my hand older Olympus cameras like the EM5, and I have to tell you that I was amazed. So Olympus is a great camera manufacturer, and I would say that I would trust Olympus. If they say that this camera does this, I would trust Olympus that it will do. So first of all, let's talk about the similarities which both of the cameras will have, and then we talk about the advantages of the Nikon D7200, disadvantages, and then advantages of the Olympus and disadvantages. So I don't want to pull it too long, so let's jump into it and let's start. Now, similarities. Both of the cameras will have 20 megapixel. Now here we don't have to forget that Nikon is APS-C size sensor and Olympus is Micro Four Thirds sensor. Now that would be an advantage for Nikon, because if you want to print the images bigger, the APS-C size sensor will help you to print, to be able to print bigger. So this is the second. Second is tilty touchscreen. Now, again, we don't have to forget here that here Olympus has an advantage, because Olympus has tilty flippy. It's not just tilty. Like Nikon has only tilty screen. Like you can tilt, but you cannot flip out. Olympus has also a flippy screen and a touch screen in the menus as well. So Nikon is touchscreen but not in the menus. Olympus is touchscreen in the menus, and it's like Panasonic, you know, it's a great touchscreen. So here Olympus has an advantage. Now again, similarity, 4K recording, 4K video recording. Now here again Olympus has an advantage because it shoots in cinematic 4K at 236 megabit per second, which is great. It is very good. Until now only the Panasonic GH4 and some very good expensive cameras were able to shoot in cinematic 4K. I would say not in this price range. In this price range you couldn't really find a camera to shoot in cinematic 4K. Now again, similarity is fast shooting frame rates. It's if you are a sports photographer or wildlife, you know, like birds photographer, you will love both of the cameras. I mean, they are fantastic, you know, they are very fast and very good cameras. Like the Nikon shoots 10 frames per second, you know, and Olympus has here again an advantage because it shoots until 15 frames per second mechanical shutter and 60 frames per second electronic shutter. Now that is horrendous. That is good. I tell you, it's really good. I mean, it's 60 frames a second, you know, that's great. So again, similarity, dual SD card slot. Like I say, this is for photography, you know, it is important. Maybe some photographers will not agree with me. That's completely fine. We don't have to agree after all, you know, but for me, this is my opinion. I emphasize all the time in every video that this is my opinion. If you want, you give attention to my opinion. If not, it's up to you. But I think that dual SD card slot, it is very important if you do a paid job. If you do only for yourself, that's completely fine. If you lose your images, so be it. But if you do a paid job, you can't afford to lose your images. So dual SD card slot, 1/8,000th of a second mechanical shutter speed. That is again, for me, it's very important. 1/250th of a second flash sync speed. Now again, all these things are, some photographers, they will say, no, that's not important. The other one will say it's important. For me, it's important. Like I said, it is very important, all these aspects. Now, let's get to the advantages of the Nikon D500. Okay, first of the advantage is the sensor size. APS-C size, no anti-aliasing filter. Now, Olympus has micro four thirds size, no anti-aliasing filter. If we calculate, you know, the pixel per inch, Olympus will have bigger pixel per inch because it's 20 megapixel on the micro four thirds, you know, so it will be, I would say the image quality will be the same. I wouldn't say you will notice any difference, only if you print very big, then you will. So, great autofocus tracking. Now we all know that Nikon D500 got the autofocus system from the big brother, the D5. And we know that the D5 has great autofocus tracking. Now, again, over here, it's the Olympus is a little bit, let's say this is an arguable advantage because we don't know, well, I can say that I don't know. I didn't test the Olympus, you know, and the Nikon, the autofocus tracking. They will say that it will be very good. Now, I cannot say 100% because I didn't test it. But I would say the Nikon D500 is great. So if the Olympus is the same, so be it, you know, I'm just happy for it, that's not an issue. But I will count this as a Nikon D500 advantage. It might be that I'm wrong in this side. This is, I would say, arguable advantage. So, great battery life. This is not arguable. I mean, Nikon is excellent on battery life. We all know that. I mean, I use the Nikon D7200, you know, just stick in a battery and just forget about when I charged. So it's great. Nikon is great in battery life. Now, handling and button layout. I have to tell you that here I have to give this to Nikon because Olympus is good. Don't get me wrong, it's very good. And it's bigger like Sony cameras, you know, so it will be better, the button layout. But with the button layout and handling, you know, if it's a DSLR type, you know, it's better, you know, that for me. Again, don't forget, for me. So I would say maybe because I'm used with Pentax and Nikon and these kind of DSLRs, you know, and they are all DSLRs, you know, and That's why I was kind of hassling with Sony, because I just couldn't, when I used Sony for 2.5 years, 2 years or something, I just couldn't get used with it. So button layout, huge lens selection, sorry. Now again, here we cannot argue about this, that Nikon will have a huge lens selection. And not only Nikon, I mean, you can get from Sigma, from Tamron, from Tokina, from everybody makes lenses for Nikon and for Canon. So they have huge lens selections, This is obviously an advantage to Nikon. But we don't forget that Olympus has also with the Panasonic, so you can use Panasonic lenses, and also you get some third-party primes, like Sigma primes or Tamron primes, for micro four thirds, or even some young manual focus lenses. You can get a lot of lenses, so it's not bad at all. I mean, I don't want to say it's bad. It's much better like Sony anyway, but Nikon is bigger, definitely. So this is not arguable. Again, cheaper, because it's $1,797 versus $1,999. So the camera will be cheaper, with $200. Now that's maybe not a big issue. I mean, if you want the Olympus, that wouldn't stop you, that wouldn't stop me anyway. That $200 is not a big issue. It's not like $1,000 or $700, $800 difference. So that's not a big issue. Now, the last advantage, what I would say for Nikon, is you can get easier everything, like accessories, flashes, these kind of things, easier than for Olympus. It's unfortunate, but unfortunately it's true that every manufacturer, when it makes, first they will make for Nikon, Canon. When you are lucky, they make for Sony. Maybe the A mount, the alpha mount, not the E mount. So that's the situation. I mean, you can get also for Olympus, accessories, but it's not as big variety like for Nikon. Now we arrived to the disadvantages of Nikon D500, and the first is the bigger and heavier than the Olympus. Well, this is true. I have to tell you that it's big and heavy, especially if you put a battery grip on it and you put a 70-200 lens on it, then you have what to carry with you, definitely. So it's true, bigger and heavier. Now, I'm that type of person that I don't care if it's bigger or heavier, if I want image quality. So I don't want to trade in the image quality just to carry around the light camera. And that's why I use the Nikon D7200, because until now, I would say, that is in APS-C I'm talking about, that is the best camera, the best image quality for your money. Nikon D7200, Nikon D7100, period. There is no other, I mean, the best, good autofocus, good image quality, everything what you get in a package, that's the best, that's what you can buy. This is my opinion. Okay, now, disadvantages, the second disadvantage is the autofocus in video. Now, unfortunately, this one I have to give to Olympus, because this is again arguably, I would say, because I didn't see the Olympus. I've seen other people test it, but I didn't have in my hand to test. So, but I know I did have in my hand the Nikon D500, and I have to tell you that the Nikon D500 has the same problem like every other Nikon camera. And that problem is that if you video yourself, let's say like I video myself over here, and it's in autofocus continuous mode, and you will see that the camera will lose focus and refocus at you just after every 10 seconds, For what reason, don't ask me. I don't know. I don't have a clue. But this is like a focus break, that just refocus. It's a sudden like that, lose focus, refocus, For what reason, I don't know. But it does, unfortunately. So this is one of the reasons why I don't like Nikon cameras for video. I mean, the Nikon D7200 is very good camera, but because of this issue, for video, I don't really advise you to use it. Now, again, this is a strong disadvantage of Nikon D500. No in-body image stabilization. There is some electronic stabilization, but it's not effective at all, That's I wouldn't count that at all. And no flippy screen. It's tilty, but it's not flippy. So these would be the disadvantages of Nikon D500. Now let's see the advantages of the Olympus EM1 Mark II. First, it looks like that it was it has the literally the best image stabilization on the planet, you know. Like, I would say it's really, Olympus is great, and I would say I would like that everybody would just buy the system from Olympus, or I don't know, whatever, you know, but every camera should have that in-body image stabilization. That's the best, and that's arguable, that's not arguable. So that's, everybody knows that Olympus image stabilization is the best. Now, Pro Capture mode. This, I have to say that again, I have to give to Olympus. It's just really, really good. I don't know if you know what is Pro Capture mode. If not, I will explain, you know, just shortly. What it does, you know, when you push the shutter halfway down, it will take 14 images in full raw resolution. And when you push the shutter fully down, it will take until 90 images full raw resolution. So in other words, you can have the moment before you press the shutter. And that is just brilliant, you know, that is just very, very good. So this is a very, very big advantage of Olympus. High resolution photo mode. Again, if you are shooting product photography, landscape photography, let's say, I don't know, what else, like buildings, you know, these kind of things. Even in portraits, I would say you can go for it. Then you can use the high resolution photo mode. And what that does, you know, it will shoot in 1 second 8 images, and it will compare it to a very high resolution full raw file. And that will be, some people, they say it's 80 megapixel, comparable to an 80 megapixel image. Now, honestly, I couldn't find any detail on the Olympus website about this, about 80 megapixel. What I could find, only 50 megapixel, they say, but I don't know. But anyway, even 50 is huge. So it's a very good photo mode. I mean, this high resolution photo mode. Okay, another advantage, smaller and lighter. Obviously, it is smaller and lighter because it's micro four thirds, so it's smaller. Super fast frame rate, electronic shutter, 60 frames per second. You know, I mean, this is hilarious. It's very good, I tell you. It is very good. Electronic shutter, 1/32,000 of a second. Again, something what I would say that every camera should have, you know, but I don't know. Anyway, here is an advantage of the Olympus, which is not an advantage for everyone. And this is the crop factor. So it's a micro four thirds camera. And because it's a micro four thirds, it has that crop factor of 2, not 1.5 like the APS-C size cameras. So if you are a bird shooter or wildlife or this kind of photographer, the crop factor will be an advantage for you, because you have a 100mm lens that will be actually 200mm for you. Now this, like I said, this is not always an advantage. For some photographers, this can be a disadvantage. The example for the landscape photographers, because you can't really get wide lenses, you know, then you need bigger sensors, you know, to eliminate the crop factor. And so we arrive to the disadvantages of the Olympus EM1 Mark II. Now the first and the biggest disadvantage is obviously the APS-C size sensor. I mean, if this camera would be APS-C, sorry, not APS-C, micro four thirds sensor, I made a mistake. If this camera would be APS-C, then this would sell like milk and butter, I tell you. It would be excellent. But because it's a micro four thirds sensor, this is a disadvantage. Not big, but it's still a disadvantage. Now the second disadvantage would be it's a little bit pricey. I would say it's a much more realistic price would be like 1,700 euro or something like that, you know, but 1,999 is 2,000 euro. I would say it's a bit pricey, but it will get there, because in 6 months time, when they release, in 6 months time, it will get down with a few hundred euro or dollar. So definitely, if you have patience and if you wait, you know, you will get it for 1,700, definitely. Now that's the second disadvantage. The third disadvantage, I would say, it's a little bit, this is not a big disadvantage again, but it's the lens selection. It's not as big and not as wide as Nikon's lens selection, but it's good because it has the Panasonic lenses again, and if you are happy with that, you know, it's completely fine. Now, I have to tell you that you can also get nice prime lenses from Samyang, manual primes. You can adapt again, because this is a mirrorless advantage. You know, you can adapt any kind of lens in manual. I mean, you can use manual mode, any lens. I mean, any lens on the planet you can adapt on them, you know. And even if you can use speed boosters on the Olympus, you know, and that's really increase again the lens's capabilities. So I would say these are the disadvantages what I see in the Olympus, and if I'm wrong, or if you think that you can add something constructive to this video, please do it. Leave a comment down below. And again, I have to mention this, and I have to emphasize this, that this is not a review. This is my opinion based on my experience and on my hand-on experience with cameras, you know. And I would say that some other people can use my experience when they want to make a decision, because it happened with me, you know, that I wanted to buy a camera and nobody was talking about the disadvantages, only the advantages. So I lost a lot of money because I bought the camera and then I had to figure out myself that this camera is not for me because it has a lot of disadvantages. So that's what I try to do here, to speak about the advantages and disadvantages of both systems. So if somebody wants to buy, then he can just decide himself, this is for me or not. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe and share my videos. And other than that, I wish you a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.